Okay, we are going to add a section view to the tool holder today. What we're going to start by doing is we're going to make a cutting plane right down the center of this part, and then you'll see the section on this lower view of this part. So you can't see it very well, but my hidden lines, let me change the color so we can see them a little better. My hidden lines are this light blue color right here. All right, so the first thing that I want to do is I want to add a cutting plane to this view right here. So I'm going to go to my layer properties, and I'm going to make a layer called cutting plane. You can see I've already made it right here, but if you don't have it, copy it over. It might be good to copy it over from a layer that already has a line weight of 0.6 that's continuous. But if not, let's just go through the details of that. You want to make sure that this little printer icon shows that it is plotted. That means there will be no red kind of dot over that. I chose to make my cutting plane magenta, and the line type is --2. To change the line type, you click on the line type, you go over to select line type and go to load. Then you're going to scroll down until you see --2 right here. You're going to hit OK. And then that will be in your smaller list here, and then you'll click on it in this smaller list and hit OK. And the line weight is going to be 0.6. All right. So I want to go to my cutting plane layer and grab a line, and I'm going to draw a line right down the center of my part. I'm going to turn ortho, make sure ortho mode is on. And I'm going to copy this line over to the other side. And next what I want to do is get my arrows for this cutting plane. Now the arrows on our cutting plane are going to be twice the size of the arrows of our dimension lines, meaning that they'll be 1/4 of an inch long and 1/8 of an inch wide. And the way we make these arrows is by making a polyline on the end right here. And I get a polyline by typing in PL. And then drawing this line. Mine's coming in thick. Yours might not come in thick. It might just come in as a normal line. That's fine too. I'm going to type in 0.25 to make this line 0.25 thick. And then whatever this line looks like for you, if it's thick or thin, you're going to right click on it and go to properties. And you want the start of your line segment width to be 0.125 and the end of your line segment width to be 0. There we go. And now I'm going to take this and I'm going to copy it over to my other side. There we go. So now I've made the cutting plane. And what I want to do is I want to add a section to this view right here. So the purpose of a section view is there are some parts that have internal features that you cannot see unless you have a section view. You also can't dimension to certain features unless you have a section view, because you can't dimension to hidden lines. This part right here, we could go either way, but for this exercise, we're making it into a section view. So what I'm going to do is imagine if I cut this part with a knife this way and I looked at it from the direction that these arrows are going. What would I see? The part of the part that will be cut will have a hatch pattern on it, kind of like cutting into a pie. That would be the pie filling. And then everything else won't. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my hidden lines. I'm going to make them visible because these hidden lines are all on this cutting plane here. So I'm going to select my 3 hidden lines and I'm going to switch them to my visible plane. And then the next thing I'm going to do is take this line right here and delete it. So I just click on it and hit delete. Okay. And now I can add my hatch to my areas where it needs to be to represent the section view. And in order to make my hatch, I need to make a new layer. I'm going to go to layer properties. I'm going to make a layer called hatch. I can make it whatever color I want. In this case, I chose dark blue. The line type is continuous. It's definitely plotted. The line weight is default. Once I've done that, I'm going to make this hatch in here. And the way I do that is by typing in hatch into my menu bar. And I get this other menu bar that pops up here, the hatch creation bar. And I'm going to use this hatch right here. It's called ANSI 3.1. And that's all I need to do is select ANSI 3.1. And I want to make sure that I go on pick internal point right here. So if you're not automatically getting a little crosshairs and you have something that says select objects, then go down here and click on pick internal point. But if you already had crosshairs like this, then you're good. And I'm going to hover this in my areas where I want my hatch. And it looks like my hatch is on the wrong layer, which is totally fine. I can move that layer later. So I'm going to close my hatch creation. I want this to be on my hatch layer, so I just hover over it until it highlights. And I'm going to go to my home tab, and I'm going to change this to my hatch layer. And there we go. That's how we add a hatch to the tool holder. And you'll see, you guys will be adding this most likely when you have your dimensions on here as well. Your final product should look something like this. Had something grab a little point down here. Let's just fix that up real quick. There we go. Put that on my text layer. There we go.